Welcome to Rock Solid, the Round Rock Business Leaders Podcast. Join your host, Bryan Eisenberg, as he explores the journeys of entrepreneurs and companies across Round Rock, Texas. From startups and nonprofits to large organizations, each guest shares their passion for doing business in this thriving community. Let's dive in.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rock Solid. I'm Bryan Eisenberg, and I'm here with Adriana Nunez from the Round Rock Chamber. Adriana, you deal with and manage several of my favorite programs within the chamber. Obviously, the entrepreneurial hat sits in your corner. So let's talk a little bit about that. And I know there's a variety of programs, from the council to events to big events. Can you share like all the spectrum of stuff that you're working on?
Yeah, they're my favorite programs too. And I don't say that just because I manage them, but some of the OG, before I even started at the Round Rock Chamber, we have 1 Million Cups, which is not unique to Round Rock. It was started by the Kauffman Foundation. Yeah. There are communities all over the U.S. that do these. A company comes in, does a high-level 6-minute, not pitch, but here is what my business is, and here are some things that I'm struggling with. And what's really amazing about this is the community has the opportunity to help them out and give feedback and help some of their concerns. So that's one of our OG programs, as well as Spark. The idea behind Spark is we invite successful entrepreneurs, very similar to what you do here, to kind of share their story, the good, the bad, the ugly. And our hopes is that the people in the audience feel inspired, or perhaps they don't feel as lonely, because we hear that a lot. Being an entrepreneur is lonely. And so to hear that somebody has gone through exactly what you're going through, you're not alone, and they can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's another really great one. And then the Entrepreneurship Council is another OG thing that the chamber did. But what shifted and how we got to some of the programs that we have today is that we moved entrepreneurship from being under our chamber initiative to being an economic development initiative.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And so when I started is actually when that shift happened, and a need from the council was actually, we're looking for more educational programming. And that's when Daniel Hernandez had an idea for what is now Business Leader Series. And we together have helped him lift up that program, and we've kind of just totally absorbed it at this point. But we invite business leaders and industry experts to come in and share something. Our hope is that the people that come and attend that are able to walk away with something that they can then go and implement in their business.
I certainly did. I mean, that was one of the programs I talk about whenever people ask me, like, okay, what'd you get out of the chamber? It was one of those business leaders series. Someone came there to talk about recruiting and retaining talent in today's environment. And we were doing okay recruiting-wise, but just a couple little tweaks, and all of a sudden it was so much better. So yeah, that's a great series.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think we're going on 3 years now, so that's really exciting. And then our last big one is the Round Rock Startup Day and Pitch Competition that has kind of evolved over the last 4 years to what it is today. So lots of really great stuff.
So after this, we're going to jump on a call to help someone with their 1 Million Cups pitch, or their little presentation. And I think it's important to kind of point out the types of businesses that we see, because it's not just your mom and pop shops, right? There's startups, there's scale-ups, there's all kinds of businesses, restaurants. What do you see from that perspective, and what do you see resonates with the audience that comes to those events?
I think it's really good that we have such a diverse mix, because that means anyone who has a business feels like I can also get up on stage and get help from the community. They're never thinking, well, I just have this small business on the side and no one's ever going to help me out, because that's not something that this community does. This community builds up all of the businesses that are here. So it really is very industry agnostic. And I think that that's important. Almost all of our programs are industry agnostic.
You've probably sat through a bunch of these. Is there any one of them that really kind of just, that's their story still so sharp for you because it was so interesting?
There was a gal that I think her presentation was during our 1 Million Cups 5-year anniversary, and she had built out this platform where when you're looking for office space, it's kind of like Airbnb, but for office space. And She was also a veteran, and so it was her story that really captured me, right? I think I'm remembering her story more than what her actual business was, but to hear about what being an entrepreneur meant for her as a veteran who perhaps wasn't ready to jump back into a traditional workforce, but was looking to, still needed to earn money, right? And she had a business idea. And I think that's a really cool aspect about entrepreneurship, right? Is it allows you to do what's best for you.
Rock Solid is produced and recorded at Round Rock Studio. Located right here in Round Rock, our state-of-the-art studio is built for podcasters and creatives alike. We offer multiple professionally designed podcast sets, top-notch recording gear, and a full photography studio ready for any project. Whether you're launching a new podcast or upgrading your existing one, we can help with multi-camera recording, editing, and everything you need for success. Record with us at Round Rock Studio, your local podcasting partner.
And I love that because it's a line I use all the time, right? Facts tell, stories sell, right? And that story is what landed with you. It hit you emotionally and it just anchored with you. And there's a lot of businesses who go up there and they just tell some very basic facts and they're not memorable, unfortunately, because you remember all the stuff we learned in school. We don't remember it that many years later. But when you get a powerful story, it has such an impact to that. I know you also had some interesting results from a study that we did, and we looked at the types of businesses that are growing here in Round Rock, the category of business. Can you talk a little bit about that as well? Yeah,
it should be shocking to no one that the top startup or industry that we're seeing is hardware and IoT, so Internet of Things. Mm-hmm. But that's because of our proximity to Dell. So Dell is headquartered here in Round Rock, Texas, even though anytime they're being introduced anywhere, they're like, headquartered in Austin. That's not correct. They're here in Round Rock, Texas. But I think we're seeing a lot of people spin out of their ideas from working at Dell, and that's why hardware and IoT is a top industry. Defense would be a subsector. We're seeing a lot of dual-use companies, so companies who are creating things that they can sell to the government, but that they can also sell at a commercial level. Mm-hmm. So that's something we're seeing a lot of. And then I think CPG was another one that she noted. So consumer product goods is another top industry in Central Texas.
Yeah, I saw also data startups was one of the other ones as well. Where and again, Dell has always been a large part of their force has been focused in on using their data to grow. So that's also not a big surprise. Mm-hmm. And IBM from the area as well. But we've got something really exciting happening soon, right? We've got your pitch day. This is going to be the third annual. I know last year, pitch competition was 2 years ago. Yes. Last year you did a whole day, and we want to talk about that one because that was a very special day for you on a lot of reasons. But then let's talk about what's coming up for this next one.
Yeah, so our Round Rock Startup Day and Pitch Competition, Thursday, May 1st at Texas State University in Round Rock. We're really excited. This year is going to look a little bit different. We've got 4 sessions, and we'll kick off the day at 9:30 with the first session at 10. We'll go through 4 sessions of just different educational topics. We've got PR, storytelling, right? We just talked about how the story is generally what sticks to people. So founders really need to know how to capture their audience or whoever they're talking to by sharing their story. A funding one, because of course we have to hit that. And that one I think will be really special because I think a lot of founders think I need to go raise VC or I need to get funding X way, but that's not always the case. So we'll hear from a bank, a VC, and an angel investor, just different funding options and what might be best for them, and then how to scale your business and some successes from successful founders and how to do that. So that'll be really exciting. I'm also really excited to share that we'll have Kevin Koym, who's kind of an OG entrepreneur in the Austin ecosystem. He's going to facilitate a campfire networking, which is something that he's known for in Central Texas. So to get to do that in Round Rock will be really cool. And then we'll end the day with our 3rd annual pitch competition, which I'm really excited for some of our judges. A lot of the feedback that I've gotten from the audience is just hearing the feedback from the judges is a lot of why they show up. They're like, yeah, we love to watch people tell their pitch, but I gain so much knowledge from hearing these successful judges.
Yeah, it's like Shark Tank. You really do get that words of wisdom from their point of view adds so much because when you're I've been in 4 startups. I know the world. When you're so focused in on your own world for so long, getting that outside perspective sometime in front of a room definitely breathes some fresh air into your point of view. We're about to have Kevin on the podcast as well. He's a longtime friend. I think that's going to be a wonderful thing. Let's talk a little bit about last year's guest because we had 6 different companies. I remember a few of them. We had a medical tech company. We had the award winner, which was a CPG. Our People's Choice winner was a CPG. We had some marketing tech. There really was a wide variety of options there. Are you seeing sort of that same thing happening for this year's in terms of the entrants that you're seeing?
We are. It is kind of all over the place, and I think something that we've been really successful at is because we don't put too many parameters around defining what kind of companies can apply. We really do see it kind of all over the place. It's funny, I noticed there were a couple that were from even out of Texas applying to our pitch competition, which I'll have to talk with our pre-judges to see about how that they may or may not qualify, but just to even know the outreach that we're hitting is really cool.
Yeah, Round Rock is a destination now. It's not, you could call it Austin, but no, Round Rock is serving for its own purpose. And I think last year's Pitch Day was outstanding for a lot of reasons. And I'm glad to see that we're starting to see and get that recognition from out of state. And maybe this podcast will drive some more next year. Who knows? What are you most excited about for this year's competition? Because you, again, every year you keep improving on it. What are you most excited about from an improvement this year?
I think our judges. I think I'm really excited for some of the judges that we're going to have.
Can you reveal one of them? I know one of them is a fairly well-known name.
Yeah, we have Hugh Forrest with South by Southwest. He's one of the co-founders, and he's kind of an Austin
icon.
Yes, correct.
Where so many major applications and startups have launched at South by, so to have him there, that's big.
Yeah, to have his expertise. Cam Hauser is another really great one. He gives excellent feedback, so I'm excited to hear what he'll have to say about some of our contestants.
Now, you have sat through a lot of 1 Million Cups and Sparks, and obviously now the pitches. I'd love to hear from your point of view, who you haven't been an entrepreneur yet. I have a feeling it's in your future. I could feel it in your DNA. But what are some of the biggest lessons you've taken away from hearing all of this and all their feedback?
I feel like this is so cliche, but to just do it, right? If you have an idea, just try to find a way to make it come to light. It's funny, a couple years ago, I did have an idea that I ran by Bill, and I was like, but I think that this might already exist. And I kind of started to do some homework, and then it died off, but now I'm thinking about it again. And we kind of had a conversation about AI and how that helps bridge the gap between I have an idea, but I don't know how to bring it to life. Yep. So now that has my wheels turning again. But I think that that's what it is don't be afraid to take your idea and bring it to life, because there's generally a market for, if you've thought of it, there's generally a market out there for it. You're probably not the only person that's thought about it or needed something similar to whatever it is you're brainstorming.
I know it sounds cliche, but it is so true. I've seen it over and over again, and it's not necessarily the first person who comes up with the idea. It's who gets it out there, gets it out into the market quickest, gets the feedback, iterates on it, gets it widely accepted. Even today, my LinkedIn post was about the first book that we published. And we dedicated the book to my mentor, Roy and Penny. And we misspelled his wife's name, Penny, Penny, which is incorrect, and dedicated the book to Roy and Penny, who taught us anything worth doing is worth doing wrong. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, in the acknowledgments, we corrected it, okay? But we had a big mistake in that book. Do you remember the old Eminem line, melts in your mouth, not in your hand?
Yep.
Yeah, somehow we reversed it. And it went through multiple printings of getting it wrong. But you know what? That book set us up for our next book to be a New York Times bestseller. It's just doing it. It's just getting it out there. And you are going to cringe no matter what at what you look at what you do today compared to, a year from now. And so, yeah, it's just, if you've got the idea, just do it. And we were talking to Brent earlier here from Round Rock Studio, right? He's built just a couple of apps in a few hours, for some of his creative endeavors. And that's what's so amazing that AI enables us to do today. So yes, I think it's not cliche. It's the right answer.
Yeah. Even with my position did not exist until 2 years ago. But the city kind of saw a lot of the work that we're doing and had faith in the chamber, and they helped fund what is now my position, Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And I consider my position a startup because there is no roadmap to how to do what I'm doing. It would be easy to steal a job description from another community, but Entrepreneurship is so unique to each community because of the startups and the small businesses and the founders that are in the community. And so every day I'm kind of like, where do I take this now based off of the community? And so, yes, I am not currently an entrepreneur, but I think of my position very much like a startup.
I mean, I think you're getting the best education possible. If you're not doing it, at least you're around it every single day. And they always say, you become the people you hang around. And if you're hanging around successful entrepreneurs, it's going to rub off. I mean, it's going to be a loss to the chamber someday. But for now, we're very grateful that you're here and driving this. Let's talk a little bit about the community, because you're also a new mom in the community, and what you love so much about this community, besides the entrepreneurial spirit.
I think it's everyone's always willing to step up to the plate and help you professionally and even in your personal life. With so many people that I've met through our events and through the chamber as I've gone on this new endeavor of being a mom, have also checked up on me and how are you doing and how your kids are doing. And it's just so special to be a part of such a unique community that is really there to support you in every aspect of your life, which I think is important for founders. And I think we need to do a better job of marketing Round Rock as that. Like, we are really a community that will help you in every aspect, and we will help you grow, and we will do everything we can to help you succeed.
And we're very inclusive, as Darwin Tanksley, sat in that chair and told us, here is, Entrepreneur of the Year, a couple of years ago. And the fact that he was able to be nominated and won in this community says something that is so special about this community. I'm very curious, life has changed now that you have a little baby, just a little over 3 months. But what were some of your favorite things to do in the community? Before pre-baby.
Yeah.
We'll talk about what you might look forward to post-baby.
No, right, you integrate your baby into your life. And this is a pretty good example. I think Round Rock does a really good job of hosting lots of community events. For example, this weekend there was an art pop-up downtown. So just going and being a part of those, we do like a Diwali festival and then a Dia de los Muertos. And there's just so many events that the city puts on, and they really put their whole hearts into it. And so just going and being a part of those is really cool. And I still get to do those. So it's a lot of fun.
If you had to give a particular entrepreneur or business in the area a shout out that, maybe people don't think about it often enough, what would be that business?
One of my favorite businesses is Mary with Stone Stash.
Yes.
She does so much to help me out and provides coffee for a lot of our events. And
what would 1 million cups be without Mary?
Yeah, without the caffeine, and even Business Leader Series. And she's always just available at a drop of a hat to help out with our coffee and caffeine needs. And as a new mother, that's very important.
I can only imagine. I want to kind of just shift back a little bit, because obviously, we see a variety of entrepreneurs, in different stages, showing up at the 1 million Cup, showing up at the Business Leaders. There's some overlap, but not necessarily, consistent overlap. Obviously, different ones for Startup Day as well. What are you telling people who are in the community, whether they live in Round Rock or the surrounding areas, because obviously we draw from around the area as well, why should they be showing up to these events? Like if maybe they're just starting, maybe they're experienced, what's the value for them to be present at these kinds of events?
Yeah, I think we see companies from all looking to scale, they already existing, growing, to people with ideas. I think it's who you're going to meet in the room, right? I've gotten to hear people tell stories like, I met this guy who does this at his company, and now we're partnering together, and he's going to help me grow my business. And just the number of times that I've heard that story has been really insightful and impactful. Like, that's why I do what I do, because I love connecting people. And I might not have your answer, but I assure you that there's somebody in the room at one of these events that does. And so if you just show up and start saying hi and shaking hands, I almost guarantee you'll find an answer to a question that you have.
No question. So Startup Days is May 1st. And who should show up?
Everybody. I think if you're just entrepreneur curious, this is one of my favorite terms. Like, maybe you're like, I don't want to work an 8 to 5, or I have a business idea. I think this is for you. I think if you're an existing business too, it doesn't hurt to stay on top of current trends. What is it people are talking about today? Or even just refresh, make sure, if someone's talking about storytelling, make sure your storytelling is on par with where it should
Yep.
be. So I think it's another it's for everyone. And I think that's something that the Chamber does really well is all of our entrepreneur programs, they're free and they're open to the public. You don't have to be a Chamber member. You don't even have to live in Round Rock. You can come from Cedar Park, San Marcos, San Antonio, from wherever. We welcome you really at all of our events.
Now, if people want to find out more about the events, or maybe they want to present themselves at A Million Cups or one of these other events, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, I think our Chamber calendar is a good place to start. All of our events are listed out there. And if you're ever curious and want to know more about entrepreneurship in Round Rock, just reach out to me, Adriana, at the Round Rock Chamber. My email's on our website, and I'd be happy to kind of share the good story of what we've got going on. And I'd love to plug people in where it makes sense.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Bryan.